Hey guys, it's Israel back again with Heavy Metal Reptiles, and today I have Zoom out. He is my Florida king snake, and we're kind of going to go over like a quick rundown on him and cover some topics as far as keeping and things, and maybe a little bit about their temperament and stuff. Um, they're pretty awesome snakes. I like them, and I hope you guys enjoy the video and take something away from this. Alright, so as far as husbandry goes with these guys, it's pretty easy to achieve. As far as they don't need high humidity. You're talking like 50 to 60% humidity with these guys. You know, they're native to Florida, so in pretty much any house in the United States, it's going to be pretty easy, and probably in a lot of other countries also. I don't know. Obviously, I don't live in other countries, so can't speak for Africa and Asia and places like that. But for here in the United States, it's pretty easy and mindless almost to get these guys where they need to be. As far as their heat goes, now there is a kind of a more of a challenge. You're talking between 80 to 90 degrees during the day, which can be easily achieved with a thermostat and a heating pad. And as long as you have a thermostat, you know it should stay right about where it should be. At night, you're talking a drop of 60 to 70 degrees. So, I mean, for at least where I live in Ohio, I should say, at night, we're getting down to, you know, in the house, 65 degrees as a whole, you know, so the ball pythons and the lizards and things, there's a battle there, but for these guys, it's not a big deal. It's actually where they want to be, so you could honestly turn off their heating pad at night and use a residual heat. They do say they want a warm and cold side for these guys, and some of the stuff I've watched, but the thing is it's a colubrid. Your colubrids are indestructible snakes. They self-regulate their temperature. Make sure that there's a little bit of fluctuation in the cage. They're self-regulate. You don't need a hide on both. As you can see, this guy's very alive. He's not like a ball python where he sits and curls up. These guys are used to being out in the elements and in hotter weather and having to do things in order to self-regulate their temperature. So, like I said, I would recommend a heating pad to achieve your temperatures, but you don't really have to worry about a hot and cold heating pad or hides. As far as their bedding, we use an aspen bedding for them. I personally do not like aspen for any reptile at all, but for these guys, it helps with their tunnels. So one thing when they're eating, you want to really make sure that they aren't getting aspen in their mouth. It happens, I know it happens, but you just want to make sure that little to none. As far as feeding too, I guess I can kind of touch on that with husbandry. You've got to be really careful when you do feed. These guys aren't your constrictors, so they will wrap their prey, but they can do some damage to your snake if you feed live. The rats or mice can. I've personally had trouble with him and his eating, so. But yeah, we're going to move on to kind of their behavior now and kind of what to expect when you get one. So kind of with their behavior or their temperament, their personality, as far as colubrids in general go, this is going to be pretty much true amongst a lot of them. Even kind of like your western hognose snakes and stuff too can be pretty aggressive, I kind of want to say. Maybe not really aggressive. So before we started shooting the video, this guy bit me on my middle finger, on this middle finger. It didn't draw blood. It, for whatever reason, every time I get bit, I yell, ow, and I got bit by a ferret yesterday that hurt worse than this guy does. So, you know, they are kind of temperament. He does a hissing thing kind of when he's upset, which for whatever reason, he's usually pretty good. We bought him. They told us he was a bitey snake. I didn't believe him because I'd had him for almost 3 weeks to a month and never been bit. He actually got out of his enclosure one day. He bit me, and he's tagged me twice now. So, um, which is cool. I mean, with any snake, you have that risk of getting bit. Luckily, with these guys, they have smaller mouths, and their teeth aren't huge, so they are their bite's very mild. It's not like if you get bit by a 6-foot python or something crazy. It's never, I mean, you're not going to hardly see blood. I think the first time I got bit, it drew a little bit of blood, but nothing serious. They have really small teeth. These guys can get to a really good size. You're talking, their lifespan's 12 to, 12 to 25, 30 years, something like that, in captivity. So they live for a while. Obviously, if anything lives that long, he's going to have a little bit of length to them. So they're topping out between 3 to 6 feet is kind of like a ballpark range. They've been seen up to 6 feet. Most of them you're going to see is between 3 to 5 feet. But as far as their temperament goes, even a big one of these guys, they don't get big round. So it's just a quick bite usually. Let's go. And it doesn't really hurt all that bad. Some people could argue that. Honestly, for me, and what I know about snakes now, compared to what I did when I first started wanting a snake, if I could go back, I wouldn't have been trying to talk my mom into a ball python. I would have been trying to talk my mom into probably a corn snake. They're just, these colubrids are just so durable. They do have good personalities when you hold them, and kind of acquaint them to being held and played with, interacted with. But that doesn't take away your risk of getting bit. That doesn't take away your risk of that snake just turning at you one day and taking a bite. Like I said, though, for these guys, it ain't going to send you to the hospital. You might be like me and yell ow for no reason, because once it's done and he's let go and you're like, yeah, that didn't really hurt. So, and it's the same thing. You got to know your snake. When I got him out today, he didn't hiss at me or huff at me. They actually do a huffing noise to let you know when they're upset and don't want to be messed with. And he didn't do that, but he kind of gave me that don't touch me, don't want to be messed with kind of behavior or attitude. I got him out anyways because I'm working with him now that he's kind of gotten a little bitey. I definitely don't want that. I mean, like I said, you're always going to have that risk, and I can get into it. He'll never bite me, and then maybe one day he'll turn around and bite me. So it's just one of those things. It's the reality of owning one of these guys. Anything with a mouth can tag you. So we're going to go on to the feeding section now and go in depth a little bit with that. So with their feeding, pretty much the same kind of rules for almost every snake. You're going to judge how big they can eat to the thickest part of these guys' body. These guys specifically are known and told to be able to eat up to 1.5 to 2 times the size of the thickest part of their body. This guy, if you can kind of get a good idea of how thick he is, he's actually eating rat pups for me right now. Really small rats. I do recommend, if you're going to eat or feed rat pups, or rats pretty much in general, to a colubrid, if you can do frozen thawed and your snake will take it, which these guys are garbage disposals, they'll take anything. Make sure that when you feed them, you get like a frozen thawed. This is one of the snakes I will recommend frozen thawed for. I've heard a lot of people say they hate feeding live, that it doesn't have as much nutrients and things, but the thing is rats and mice actually have proteins and vitamins for the snake that the snake's body actually breaks down and uses. So I will always recommend live. When you freeze that, it takes away some of the nutrients for the snake. But for these guys, if you're not, especially if you're not able to watch them, I watch all mine eat. It sucks because I hate seeing live feeds, but all mine eat live, so that's just what I got. And I have to watch them, so I've had to actually keep rats from biting him before. They aren't like your ball pythons and your constrictors, so it's just something to be weary about. You do feed in the enclosure normally. You can probably really take these guys out and move them. They aren't picky like ball pythons. They aren't they stress, but they don't stress out as easy as ball pythons. So a quick move from one container to another probably wouldn't bug him all that much. But at the same time, I feed in the enclosure. The only reason I see the reason to take them out is, like I said, these guys sit on aspen, and I don't want them to digest that. So I have to watch really close when I feed them. There is that option of taking them out, though I do think that these guys would be just fine if you felt more comfortable feeding in a different enclosure. Back to behavior, though, even with that, then your snake could think every time you're getting him out that he's going to get fed, and could actually heighten aggressive behavior. They can be a little cage aggressive as it is. So just kind of some things to think about. I think that your best bet when you first get one, if it's a baby, to start with pinky mice, and kind of judge everything and work him up as he gets bigger. Some people might tell you hopper mice. I think if it's a true baby, it's probably too small for hopper mice. I personally got him this size. I don't own any corn snakes or like a California king or anything. This is my only king snake. So, and I got him at a pretty good size as it is. So I wouldn't be able to tell you from experience on that, just kind of what I know from the size that I've seen. Maybe I'll get me a baby corn snake here in the next week or so and do a video and cover that, because I need another reason to buy another animal. So, yeah, we're going to move on. So this is just kind of the end of the video. I wanted to talk to you guys for a second real quick and revisit what I talked about in the video with the leopard gecko. If you guys have any questions with your animals that you think I might be able to help with, or you're kind of looking for the right direction to move in with a situation with them, feel free to message me on Instagram, Heavy Metal Reptiles, Twitter, which I might have been telling you guys wrong. My wife told me that to find me on Twitter you have to type in Heavy Reptiles, but the page is Heavy Metal Reptiles. And Facebook, Heavy Metal Reptiles, like I said, that's a group. I'd really like to get a couple people on there, different enthusiasts and collectors, to kind of help new beginners coming on and stuff, that I can comment and talk with you guys, and we can all start conversations and talk about new animals and things we've experienced and stuff. If there is a case out there where you guys are looking to rehome or need an animal that's just too far gone for you guys to handle anymore and need rehabilitation, we do this on a local level now, where we work with a local pet store and other people. But it's on a local level. But I want to give you guys the option to reach out to me in a situation like that too. We have resources and things through the hobby and stuff around here that I work with. So, yeah. So other than that, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and hope to see you guys in the next video.